Hello, everybody.
Willkommen and bienvenue. Oh, we got our first
Raslichas
chatter. We've got
Raslichas.
Jocelyn. Hello, Jocelyn.
Hi, Jocelyn.
And we got Calvin too. Hi, Calvin.
Hello, Calvin. Can you say hello, Calvin? No, he says, I want my water bowl back so I can take baths.
Cecil doesn't say hello, at least not in public.
No. Maybe once every 3 months or so, he'll say hello, hi, or Ziesel, but he's just not a verbal person, are you? You want to whack me in the head to get my attention. We've got KK with us today. I tried Mander, but he didn't last 3 minutes. He just started, oh no, there's other birds, and he started freaking out, running all over the place. Hi, Sugar. Hi, Sugar. And we have Pip Pip. Pippa. She's getting along pretty well with everybody except for Babalu and Lorelai. Well, Lorelai's fine with her right now, but I have to watch her because Pippa will go after Lorelai once in a while. But other than that, she's doing good. And then we have Lucy and Jasmine. Jasmine's awake, everybody. Take notes.
Yeah, write it on the calendar. Well, everybody looks calm and happy so far.
So far, somebody forgot to. I gotta switch the phone so I can put the focus on online meeting. Otherwise, we'll get disturbed by a phone call or something. Here we go. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about inspiration today, and I have a kind of a funny story to say about that. But you really have to have inspiration to work among these guys. You have to allow your mind to freewheel, and then you have to be logical too. So, right, Cecil? Sea salt. Seesaw.
Oh, Babaloo Bob has joined us. Hello, Babaloo Bob.
Hello.
Hello.
My voice is still a little gruffy, so we're still mostly silent today. Yeah, but I'm here. Can't resist the birdies.
And we got Giselle who joined us as well. Hello, Giselle.
Hi, Giselle. Hey, Cecil. That's the look of someone who's had his water bowl taken away. I decided that after what Dr. Burkett said in his book about it doesn't matter if you leave the water out an hour or 2 hours, whatever, it develops way too much bacteria. So you have to train your birds to use a water bottle. So I've got 3 trained, and I'm working on number 4 now, which is Lorelei. Which I think maybe it would be easier just to go find a nice brick wall somewhere and slam my head against it. Whack, whack, whack.
Oh, I think Cecil can do that for you. You don't need to slam your own head.
Yeah, you may have a point there. Come on, straighten out there. Picture. She is funny. She is so set in her ways, and the way Dr. Burkett describes in his book, and everything in that book, he describes well how to deal with these issues. But he said, you take out their water, you get them over to the water bottle or bring the water bottle to them or whatever it takes, and tap it, get some water coming out, and then every couple of hours you go and hand them a little bowl of water to drink out of and take it away again. And just keep doing that until they finally get it and start drinking from the bottle. She'll drink from it now, but she wants me to hold it. That's typical. That is typical Lorelei. Okay, I'll drink out of the bottle, but you have to hold it. You have to take it out of the holder and hold it up to my face, or I won't do it.
Well, she's been hand-fed.
Yeah.
Wants to be hand-fed again.
Yeah.
She's reverting to her babyhood.
She gives you that look like, I'm just not going to do this. And she's almost like a true parrot in that when you make any change in her cage, she immediately starts freaking out. So take something away, put something new in there. Pretty much the same effect. I can put a new toy in there. That's about the only thing she'll let me do. Stop that. Stop it. You are a nut.
And Falcon Sue joined us. So hi, Falcon Sue.
Hello, Falcon Sue. Now, I thought I had Mander for you guys today, but he went into a mental fugue. As they said, Watership Down, he went Tharn. So it was weird too because Jasmine had gone into the timeout cage, which I rarely ever have to use, but she went in there, and then he started running around, and he ran in there. And she's looking at him like, "What are you doing?" And then he comes out, and he starts running around. And with Pippa out, if he gets too close to Pippa, Pippa will go after him. So I figured he'd go and sit in his little corner in the back of the room, but he wouldn't do it. He was just, and he wanted to come out, but once he saw the other birds, oh no, I'm not doing that. You have wings. You have wings.
I don't think he knows how to use them.
At least not volitionally. He can do it when he isn't thinking about it. And he's scared, but
although I think if Cecil could fly purposefully, then he'd be a winged menace. No one would be safe.
I think we'll find that out eventually. If I ever get any help around here, huh? Ooh. I see something. Yeah, I know he's been drinking out of his water bottle. He's pretending that he hasn't been, but I marked the bottle with a grease pencil, so I know if they've been drinking. So you can't fake me out on that. But he might have wanted to take a bath this morning. Hi, Rosebud. Yeah, I was going to tell a story. I had a friend who's, I don't know where he is now. He's off living in the mountains somewhere without any telephone or anything. So, but he's one of those guys that does Reiki, and he does a number of different disciplines, Aikido and Tai Ching and stuff like that. But he invited me to go to this outdoor little gathering of people, and they were going to play Tibetan bells, right? So I get there, and they're playing. They got everything from giant Tibetan bells down to little tiny ones, and they're playing. And I kind of closed my eyes, and then my imagination ran away because I used to write a lot. So I suddenly imagined myself inside of the cage as if I had just become Chloe. This was a long time ago, so I was seeing the cage from that angle, like what it's like to be inside of a cage and how it feels to be, someone who only gets out part of the time and all that. And then I kind of went into the forest in my mind and imagined how they lived in the forest. So I wrote a short story called "Does She Dream?" And but it gave me a certain amount of empathy for what it's like to be inside the cage. I don't like seeing them in the cages. I don't have a lot of choice, but I mean, so when they're trying to get my attention and they want something, I pay a lot more attention than I would if I didn't realize what it is to be inside of a cage. So imagination can take you to places that can really help you uh, have empathy for what they're going through.
We have a question from Giselle. She wants to know about the water bottles. So, is there a particular model that you've had success with?
I use the 16-ounce Lixit bottles with the large, because I've got larger birds with a large stopper on them. And that's the best one. If you've got a small bird, you can probably get away with their plastic models, and you need a smaller nozzle on it. You know, the big deal there is if it's too big, a smaller bird might not want to use it. If it's too small, a larger bird might not want to use it. So I would use the smaller 16-ounce ones for cockatiels, conures, and budgergars. But for larger parrots, I'd use the 16-ounce or 30. They have a 32-ounce, but I think that's really overkill. Um, Dr. Burkett says he did tests at his facility, and the bacteria growth inside that bottle doesn't even show up for 5 days. On the sixth day, you start to see bacteria because when they tap that little ball, actually these things have two balls in them. The Lixits do. So when they tap the one ball, it kind of forces the other ball up, and then so it takes a while for any kind of anything that they might pass on into the bottle to get into it. And even then, there isn't that much air inside, so I wouldn't go with a larger bottle unless you're unless you're afraid that you're going to be dead for 2 weeks before somebody shows up to get them. And then you can go with a 32-inch bottle. Um, but we've got what 12, 16-ounce bottles out there. I have extra rubber stoppers and one extra bottle. They're kind of pricey, but they're definitely worth it. And the aside to that, that's not really a factor. It's something you'll figure out for yourself. But if you can get them drinking out of water bottles, then you only have to change the water bottle every 3 days or so. You can change it every day if you want. But the testing shows that it's safe to drink for 5 days. So, and in my case, making sure that these guys will have water if something happens, to me. And there's only one other person who is another rescuer here in town who could help if something happened to me, but we don't communicate as much as we should. So one of the problems I have is my memory with the SDM. I can remember technical stuff, but I can't remember to call somebody or that kind of thing. Unless it's a daily occurrence, I'm not going to remember it. But yeah, go with the glass bottles. And I think they have a small stem for the smaller birds. You can do the glass bottles too. Definitely going to be more expensive because they have a bracket that has to go on the cage. Where the smaller bottles, they use like a little, it's like a spring that attaches to which would last about 2 minutes here. These big guys. I would never use a spring holder with a parrot, so a full size parrot. But when you're talking about smaller ones, budgergars and cockatiels, you probably get away with the ones that have the little spring holders.
Where do you purchase them, Don? Do you get them from the manufacturer or do you get them from Amazon or something?
Well, I've had them for a while. I found a veterinary supply that I could, because I was buying bulk. I was buying 12 of them at once, or 13 at once with extra nozzles. So that probably wouldn't be useful for anybody. But you can get them on Amazon. Probably better to buy them from Lixit.
Yeah, I was thinking I'd be worried about fakes on Amazon because there's probably lots of fake ones of a thing like this.
Yeah, that's something to be concerned about. Yeah, Lixit. When I bought one extra from Lixit as well, and the price was a little less than from Amazon, but you got to add the shipping. But because they don't ship for free, but they do have replacement parts too there, where Amazon doesn't. You can't get replacement. You can get replacement bottles on Amazon, but you can't get like individual nozzles. At least I couldn't find them. And you can't get the brackets off of Amazon, so best to buy from Lixit directly. Probably get them faster from Amazon though. Amazon can get them to you if you're on Prime. It get them to you in a day or two. Where if you're ordering from Lixit, you might have to wait a week. That's one of the things I like about Dr. Burkett's book is that he doesn't mess around, and he's got do and then don't. I mean, when he says don't use a water bowl, he's not kidding. And he's a vet. He sees birds that are. He's an avian vet, so he sees birds that are sick. And 9 times out of 10, it's some kind of a bacterial infection, and that's because they're drinking out of water bowls. So. It's a great book. It's succinct, gets the point down, basically tells you what you need to do. Like when he talks about corn cob and that kind of thing, and he flat says don't use it. I mean, I know why, but he says it's just a breeding ground for bacteria and fungus. You don't want to use it. Newspaper. It's going to get harder and harder to get newspaper because less and less people are reading actual print. So Uline does carry boxes of blank newspaper, and it's good. It's absorbent, and for the most part, if you lay that paper down, poop isn't going to go through. Because the paper is designed to absorb, so which newspaper does a great job on. So. I have, I buy a box of that now about, as long as I can still get some newspaper in here, I can buy a box about every 3 months. When you add shipping and everything, it's close to $100 for 800 sheets, but, there's certain cages, like I have to put 1 sheet and any bird who's got showing any kind of weirdness to their poop, I have to throw a sheet of that in there because when it lands on there, you can tell everything. If it lands on printed paper, it's hard to tell what's good and what's bad. So. Yeah, it's been fun trying to train Lorelei to use a water bottle. I should video it because it is funny to watch her because she's looking at me like, I'm not doing this. I want my bowl back. That's it. Just like a baby. I want my baba. I want my bottle.
Yeah, I know all about that.
I bet you do.
Yeah. Oh, Lisa joined us. So hello, Lisa, and she's
Hi,
given you a
Lisa.
$50 donation. So thanks very much.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. I got a surprise for you today too, Lisa. So I was thinking of you when I did this. Thank you so much. I get Cecil to say thank you, but I can't even get him to say his own name most of the time. Can I? No, I can't. Oh my goodness. So that, and the people I was with at that gathering where they were, it was an outside gathering where they were doing the Tibetan bells, and when I told them, that I'd had that kind of vision of being inside a cage, they just looked at me like I was nuts. And what's funny is that those people they're the two people I went with were both into the world of the psychic, right? We're both practitioners of basically psychic practices, and they both looked at me like, no. But it was profound. I really got a feeling for what it's like to be inside of a cage, and it's really changed me. So, but you can look for inspirations in little things too, and just try to write them down. When you think, well, what if? We'll write that down, and then ponder it later. There's a lot of times where I've been able to improve their life a little bit when I thought, well, what if? You know, I recently had that one day I don't know how I was so busy this one day, and they had to come in here, and I couldn't take Bob out. So until the last, it was going to be the last bird, and then I got busy, and then like the next morning I realized I hadn't taken Bob out, and I remembered that he was screaming the night before when I turned the lights off, he was unhappy. So I'm thinking, Mel, I need to take him out extra. He won't usually sit on a perch. If you put him on a perch somewhere, he's not going to do it. He'll go flying off, or he'll do something that try to cause trouble. But I brought him into the kitchen and put him on the perch, and he was good. Then I actually got to make a couple of toys before he finally decided he was going to start picking up things he wasn't supposed to touch and throwing them. So. But he made it out an hour that way, which was amazing. And then I took him out another half hour at night. So the inspiration there was, yeah, he's going to be a problem. Why don't you try it anyway? And instead of being stuck in my way as I did, and it worked out. He was good for almost the whole time. I was going to make 3 toys. I ended up making 2 that day, but
Yeah, he just needed a bit of extra time.
geez, you're being quiet. KK's being quiet over here. You being a quiet boy, are you?
Everybody's being very good. I wonder what plans they're cooking up in secret.
Yeah, no, they're awake too, except for Jazz is starting to go to sleep now. But everybody else is alert. I can see what plans Sugar has. Is he able to pet my beak right now? Look, she hasn't decided, but she's hopeful, aren't you?
In
You
Spirit
don't believe
Matter's
me?
here. Hello, Spirit Matter, and she says, quiet birds. Too quiet.
Well, they've been getting outside a lot lately, and being in here isn't much fun. But the wind is up today, so if I can look out the window and see the toys inside the cage, swinging back and forth at a pretty good pace, that means we can't go outside because it's hard to even get them into the aviary when the wind is blowing that hard. Because it does have 2 tarps, a tarp at one end and a tarp at the other. So if the toys are swinging, there's wind enough outside to actually move them, then the birds wouldn't be happy in there. So it's warm enough to go outside, but too windy. One of the things about deserts is you do get those desert winds. In California, we used to get them. They call them the Santa Anas because they're coming off the Santa Ana desert area. So you get those winds that come through at 60, 75 miles an hour, and in California, that's when the firebugs go out. So kind of silly way. We're gonna have wind tomorrow. You hear that? You know, they're broadcasting that all over, and the firebugs are going, "Where's my matches?" You know. What are you doing over there? Just cleaning. Yeah, they're all pretty quiet. Although Cecil might be, it looks like he's getting the idea he's going to hit me now. Are you going to whack me in the head with that? With the foot. That's with the foot. Pep, pep, pep. She has learned not to come. She'll get close, but she won't try to get into my lap if he's next to me. PK's next to me. She's pretty smart considering she's followed lead. Now, sometimes inspiration, just little things. I was working with her, getting her into a group, and just one at a time, have her with one bird and then another and another. And one day I had her up to like three. I just brought her in with this crew, and she fit right in. She did get too close to Cake there a couple of times, but she learned. Just be open to the what if in your mind. Well, what if I did it this way? And then, flesh it out, make sure the idea will work and it's safe and that kind of thing. Because you can think of some things like that aren't so good. For example, if you think about like there's these hanging baskets. They sell these little baskets that have, basically there's an archway that's roughly the size of their neck. Don't buy those. The bird has to be able to go through the whole thing if you're going to buy a basket. It's got a handle. You don't want them to put their head in there and get stuck. That happened to Snowball one day. And then he flipped out because he had a basket stuck around his head. So that's another thing you could do with your imagination is try to imagine how could they possibly use this the wrong way. And if you've got kids, you probably already know how to do that. But you have to think about their bodies too. They got a long reach with those legs of theirs, and that head is extremely flexible. It's like the Reagan in The Exorcist. You can turn that thing around almost 360. We should have a name for the way they turn their heads. I think we'll call that the Annalena Baerbock maneuver. But what are you doing? He's kind of noticing you now because you're getting close to the floor. So I'd be careful with the floor. He doesn't like other birds on the floor. He's getting better about it. What's your cake there? Getting better about that?
So Rosebud says that she really likes the background rainforest sounds. They're very relaxing.
Oh, cool. I forgot them. Do I have it on there now?
Yeah, it's still going.
No, I didn't know it was still going.
But she says she might fall asleep.
Oh, no. We don't want anybody falling asleep. Watch it there, little girl. You don't want to get down on the floor. No, you don't want to do that. No.
Well, if Pip gets going, that'll wake everyone up. And my little sidekick is fast asleep as well. It's so quiet.
Yeah, I saw a picture of someone. I think it was on X, but it was father, actually a little video, but father sitting with a child that just obviously has just fallen asleep, and how the father's got his head back and his mouth is open. Then it pans around to the two dogs and the cat, and they're all sleeping.
Aww.
Finally, the baby got quiet so we can sleep. You can't come up here. You can't do it. Peppa.
Oh, Peppa. Yeah, I think it's funny what you said about if you have kids and parrots, you have to think about how they can get into things. Because it's like now that I have a kid, it's like I look at every single thing and it's like, could she kill herself with this? And how? Because they just
Yeah.
have no sense of self-preservation.
Yeah. There's a technique. A friend of my good friend that Lorelei is named after, um, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, but she taught me a technique. It's a Wiccan technique, but where you pick up something and it doesn't matter what. You take something like this and you look at it, you try to think of 100 ways you could use it. And at first it's difficult. Like how could I use this 100 different ways? But after you practice this technique for a few months, you can look at anything and, like all the different ideas pop in your head how you can use it. And it's a great thing if you have parrots to practice, do that little practice. Sit down with anything, take a pencil, look at it. How can I use this in different ways? I can explain how that can be helpful too. I have there's a lady here who has parrots in town who brings us newspaper, but she also buys from Uline. She buys these big, gigantic rolls of paper. Like the paper's 4-inch wide and like 100 feet each roll. So no, you're asking for trouble now. Peppa, Peppa. He's not moving. That's not a good sign. When he stops moving, are you lost? You can't go through there. No, don't come over here. I love you, Peppa. You're a good girl, but you're going to get yourself killed now. Actually, she's going to get me. I'm going to have to go and put bandages on if she does this because he's going to come. Hey! Hey! You're not listening to me. No. All right. Don't get any closer. He seems to be accepting it. Peppa. So anyway, I was trying to think of what different ways to use it, and I said having that practice that she taught me. It's just simple. You just sit down and take something and think of 100 ways to use it. I had these sticks. Cecil likes the bigger ones, and somehow they sent me the wrong size. Hey, Cecil, watch it. And you're whacking on my phone, you big toad. So I'm thinking about it, and I roll this paper up so it's about 10 inches in diameter rolled up. And I went over and grabbed some of those small sticks and used it to stab into the paper. So I made a roll of that paper, a small roll of it, and I gave it to Mander. You're trying to get me killed. You're trying to get me killed. Peppa. No, you can't get this. Oh. When he finally breaks, he's going to go for you. Peppa.
She says,
Yep.
but that would be funny, Dad.
He's not moving now. I'm touching his neck, but he's not moving. I mean, he's so. No! Thank you. Good girl. You did that well. Good girl.
Peppa.
Now I'm using a secondary reinforcer to make her know that sitting on that end of the couch is fine to do that. Now he's back to chewing again. So up to this point, I hadn't really thought of any great uses for those little sticks, and now I've got a use for them. I just jam them into that paper, and it's just corrugated. It's corrugated. What it is? It's like card. It's cardboard that has backing on only one side. So, and if you shove those little um, like miniature popsicle sticks into it, then it stays together. Oh boy. But things like that pop into my head because of that practice. I probably need to start doing it again, but I did it for a year or two, so I tend to look at how can I do this? What can I do with that? It also makes you more able to change when you see that something can be used in multiple ways. Um, something will break. Okay, here's an example. um, the gentleman who passed away, who gave us this little bird, or wanted this little bird to come here, a KK bird, um, said that he used these mops and to clean the bars of the cage. You know, you still have to pull them out and clean the undersides once a month, but you know, as far as doing the basic daily cleaning, they were great. Well, they're not made to go across something like bars, and whenever you hit a crossbar, it would make the head fall off. So I'm doing it, and the head falls off, and I look at it, and I went, okay, that's the end of that. And I went back and grabbed a drill and drilled 2 holes in it, and then put bolts in it to hold the mop head on, and that's that. You can still clean the mop by using, taking it outside, using a little chlorine and cleaning it, and making sure you have it fully cleaned out. Or you can take the screws out and throw it in the washing machine. But what usually happens in our world is when you buy something like that and it keeps going the wrong way for you, you just give up on it. But if you're used to thinking outside the box and being imaginative, it can make a big difference. And also, when you're doing something like you're sitting with a bird, you can think of different ways to play with it. Rather than just having it sit on your lap, I pick up toys and try to. It's hard to do that with Lucy. She doesn't like to engage with toys, but she's doing more of it now because I will frequently when she's sitting on me, I'll grab a toy and just start putting it towards her beak, and she'll look at me like I'm nuts. But after a while, she started to play with them. So she's a tough one. She didn't have many. She didn't have many toys. She was at an animal hospital where they gave them Christmas ornaments to play with. Toys that serve no purpose. They can't be broken. They look like she's giving them toys, but she really aren't. And so she didn't even really know how to play with toys when I got it. And then she likes cork, so using imagination again, she kind of likes these little pieces of balsa wood that I got kind of by accident. I was going to try out something new, and none of the other birds cared for them. So I bought some small corks, and then I drill holes through the balsa wood and put the corks in it, and then she comes through and pulls the corks out and chews with them and plays with them. So. And then these other hanging toys that we got donated, some of the blocks are just the right size to stick the corks in. So I'm talking about you. Yes, I'm talking about the Lucy bird. A Lucy girl. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Jazz. Oh, you're going to be awake for everybody today? Oh, that's good. You're going to be awake when KK's over here, huh? Do you see KK? Do you see he's sitting here? It doesn't matter to you, does it? Until I have to restrain him, right? Yeah, when he has to go back in his cage, she gets to stay out a little while so she can get petted. She can harass Lorelai some, shove her head at Lorelai like, preen me, preen me. You're a white bird. You're a slave. Yeah, she definitely treats all the white birds as if they were slaves. Jasmine, you're cute. Passing cloud. It got dark there for a minute. Hey guys, how are you doing down there? Yeah, I know you had a couple of birds you don't care for, didn't you? Yeah. I'm gonna flip the screen so I can look at the comment. Not too many right now. What do you think? Huh, Lucy? Now she has a little attitude. This one, she's a little pushy, and she'll get sitting on my chest, and if KK's there, she'll snap at KK, and you don't do that because if she just left him alone, he'll be fine with her. But if she starts snapping at him, even though she can't do all that much with her beak, she just doesn't know how to use it. Then he gets upset, and then I got to put her up. He's got to learn not to do that to him. But you want to go over there and see your buddy? Hmm? Is that your buddy KK? Hmm?
They're such good friends, isn't it cute?
Well, he's definitely acclimating. It's taking a while. I think he's been mostly isolated from other birds. You can't know that, you know. You hear stories, but you just don't know how it is. You just deal with the behavior you see now. He is playing more in here now. He's not going after my hand so much. Getting too friendly with my hand, but yeah, he's playing more. You want another piece of wood? Yeah, you're happy with the one you've got? Okay. Hi, Cecil. Hmm? Cecil. 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 Never fails. I just get to the point where I can switch the cameras and he moves. Hi, Cecil. Another thing, that technique of looking at an object, whatever it is, you just pick any object. But another thing that it does is it helps you when you run into situations and you can't think, well, what can I possibly do? Well, obviously, if you're used to thinking of alternatives, it helps. Right, Lucy? Right, Lucy? Are you going to sleep? Hmm? Hey, sneezer. Well, it's definitely better than it was. She still sneezes a little bit, but you gonna go into a sneezing fit now?
Oh, bless you, little Pip.
I think she might actually be allergic to cockatoo dust. In the wild, they don't breathe much of it.
Well, that's kind of awkward if you're allergic to yourself.
I know. Well, it's not so bad if it's raining all the time and you don't have to breathe it. But even though I take these filters and blow them out every 2 days, um, you wouldn't believe the dust that I get on 7 filters in 2 days. So you can't get all the dust out of the air. You'd have to have the whole house designed to suck in air from every room and run it through some major filtration system. Occasionally, we get people who want us to bring in more birds, and if they're not cockatoos, I have to tell them, well, it wouldn't be a good idea anyway, because a lot of true parrots can't handle all the cockatoo dust. Cockatoo dust. You have a lot of dust? Do you have a lot of dust? Hmm? You're still looking at me like I took away your water bottle or your water bottle. Did I take away your water bottle? He hasn't tapped my arm at all today, so that's probably an indication he's not happy with me taking away his water bottle. He's drinking water though. I know that because I've seen the mark below the marker where I marked it this morning. So, yeah. Yeah. And preventing the bacterial infections is your best bet, rather than going to the vet after they've occurred. So, and any one of you who's had a bird that gets infected with something and then seems to get reinfected and reinfected, get one of these. You get one of the bottles anyway, but that may solve your problem. Dr. Verkatza, he's not the kind of vet that will, dance around and give you an answer that, will get him more money. He gives you a straight answer. So don't use this, use that. And here's why. I can imagine what it's like to go into his office and he says, well, bird has an infection. Are you using a water bottle? Or are you still giving him, with a stern look on his face? Pretty bird? Are you sure you're a pretty bird? Are you a pretty bird? Pretty bird. Pretty bird? Yeah. It never works on the, well, I won't say never, but she'll almost never come over the first time you offer. What's with your head? You're shaking your head. Why are you doing that? You need an ear massage? Mhm. Probably. You have a nasal blockage. Oh, we'll have to take her in the background and check it out. I got to work on her lower beak again today. It's only been a couple of days, but it's already getting weird. So. What are you doing? Are you okay? Oh, come here. I want to look at that. Come here. Come here. Got something stuck in her nair, I think. Just got to break out that dental tool again and clear out your nares for you.
Oh, Lucy. You gotta be careful.
She will shake her head if she gets something stuck in her nair. Usually it's just cockatoo dust that gets matted up and gets clogged in there. And I can clean it out with one of those little dental floss. It's what you use them to clean your teeth, but they've got that little plastic ones with a small piece of floss on them. I don't use the floss or anything with them, but I use the other end. I didn't read that anywhere either. It was just one of those deals that popped in my head. This would be the best thing to clean it with.
Oh, it's creative of you.
Well, said Laurel taught me that technique, so.
And Book TR Shaw joined us. He says, beautiful family, love you so much. So thank you, Book TR.
Thank you, BTR. You're good birds, aren't you? Mm-hmm. You're good birds.
They're a sweet little flock.
This one has gotten so much better. He would never have tolerated her that close to him. He tolerated her almost all the way over to him. You have to go with your own inspiration sometimes. I don't like her getting that close, but I have to let her try it. I've got bandages, not for them, for me. So I've got every kind of bandage you can imagine. From a large uh, one by, or actually 3 by 2 bandages, all the way down to the little ones that cover a spot. My baby. They don't make parrot bandages though. They should have a little pad and a space and another pad. Nobody makes those. Sometimes I have to make my own because their beaks leave 2 holes, not just one. Am I supposed to believe you now? I don't think so. Pretty bird? Pretty bird. Pretty bird? Are you going to be nice to him and not be bossy? I don't know what you're saying. Come here. Come on. Oh, come on. No. Nope, you're going to do it to me twice, huh? It's almost like Peach, and she would put her foot out like she wanted you to. She was going to shake your finger, and then she'd take her foot and then run it over her top of her head like the fawns.
Just gotta make sure you're paying attention.
Yep. Oh, I don't believe you. It's almost time for us to go, so you'll have to wait.
Pretty bird, pretty bird.
Pretty bird. Which in her language is I want. You cook popcorn, she'll start saying pretty bird. I want some. He says, I've said it enough. Why isn't he putting his hand back over there?
What's that Pip doing over there? Is she cleaning her feet?
Yep, she's cleaning her feet.
Oh, that's a good girl, Pip.
Her feet are amazing. They can do so many amazing things with those feet. Not right after they're hatched, though.
Well, they look
Yeah.
very disproportionate when they're just hatched.
Well, yeah, I can remember Lorelai just taking her foot and looking at it like this, like, what am I going to do with this? Yeah. What? What?
Oh,
I know,
Lucy,
but
so demanding.
it's a little early for that, and I have to keep you from causing problems down here. And I've got her encroaching now. And this one, now you're gonna. Oh, now he's forgiven me. He's grabbing me with his foot. I didn't have any foot action for the morning. So this man took my water bowl. I think the next one after I get Lorelai trained, which may be sometime next year. I hope I'm not being serious there. The next one will be Pippa, because of that sneezing. I think it'd be a good idea to make sure she always has clean water. So, I mean, I change it enough times a day, but according to Dr. Burkett, you can't change it enough. And then if you leave it in there overnight, the next morning, that's nasty stuff for them to drink. So, oh, thank you, Cecil. Thank you. I've been forgiven by the Cecil. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here.
And thank you, Don, for the stream.
Thank you, Eleanor, for moderating. And thanks to Babaloo Bob the Lurker for being here anyway.
We hope you feel better soon.
Thank you, guys. Try my best.
And we'll see everybody on Wednesday.
Just remember, Babaloo, if anybody says, "Well, you got a cold," say, "No, it's the bubonic plague," but I'm not too worried about it. Hey! Nope. Good girl. You learn fast, don't you? Okay, guys. We will see you later.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a non-profit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.